Hey, what's up, everyone? Brandin here with IGN. I'm joined by Mr. Brad Wardell.
Hey, good to be here. This is Galactic 3, which comes out in May of 2015. And Galactic is a game that the premise of it is that it is the year 2242.
Okay.
Humans have discovered faster than light travel, and the world asks the question, what will you do with your civilization? What should you do? What kind of civilization do you want to build?
So Galactic Civilizations 3 is a 4X strategy game about building your own civilization and presumably conquering the galaxy.
Conquering? Well, there's a lot of different ways to play it. You can be a conqueror, or you can try to spread your culture, or try to be a diplomat, or you can try to ascend to a higher state of being by pursuing a technological singularity.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of different paths to win. And one of the nice things about Galactic Civilizations 3 over, let's say, what we've done in the past is that it's a 64-bit game, and that means we can use lots of memory. So, like, if you've played a strategy game in the past...
To be clear, it's 64 only, right?
64-bit only, absolutely.
And that's because you're just the scale?
The scale potential. We want... So if you've played strategy games in the past, normally they'll say, how many players do you want to play against? And they'll go, well, you can have up to 8 opponents or 16 opponents. In Galactic Civilizations 3, you could have potentially 128 opponents in a galaxy that would take forever to cross.
Well, let's dive in and see what...
Sure.
See how to get started.
So one of the questions that the game will ask you is, do you want to create your own civilization from scratch? If you want to be an alien, or if you want to be a human, you can set up what your race traits are like, everything.
Oh, wow.
So everything from how aggressive you are to how productive, what is your fertility rate, all kinds of minutia that would appeal to someone who's really into the details of what makes a civilization tick.
Right.
You can also, of course, control the way the ships look. So if you want to have a really alien-looking ship, you can do that.
That's really cool looking.
And then when you're done, let's say you want to play against the civilization you just created.
Right.
In a future game, all right, I just created the Klingons or whatever.
Yeah.
I can go in and I can say what tech tree they're gonna use and how will they play the game? Will they be aggressive? Are they spiritual? Are they greedy? Right, so the Klingons would be, well, they're not very spiritual, right? They're aggressive.
Are you making the Klingons right now?
Yeah, I won't. It will take too long to get into. But and then you can decide what they want to pursue.
Sure. In
terms of their tech. So,
military, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, I'm going to play as the Terran Alliance, which is literally Earth.
Sort of the human analog.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. They are humans in the 23rd century. So when you get in, and I'm going to go ahead and just start out with a tiny galaxy, standard options, a few opponents here, and I bet actually that's too many opponents.
Now this really has all the trappings that you find in sort of your strategy simulations, right? Like you control the size of the arena, you control the number, resources and everything like that, correct?
Right. Now, if you don't want to get into that kind of detail, you can literally press one button and it'll just pop you into a game.
Right.
But you can go in and fully set up everything from how many resources there are in a game to how many players, how strong the economy is, how common pirates are, and you name it.
So this is really interesting because I think when people hear the phrase 4X, they think civilization, right? They think land, and then you expand, you set up new cities. So this might be a little alien. I'm sorry about that. This might be a little strange to people who have never, really seen like a spacefaring 4X game before. Can you tell me how what's the analog for a game like Civilization?
Let's go ahead and use Civilization because when I first worked on Galactic Civilizations, I actually started the company Stardock back in 1991, and I was just a college kid and very ignorant on intellectual property laws at the time too. But I got to the end of Civilization, which I loved, and I actually had the opportunity to sit down with Sid Meier and tell him this story, which was and I said, well, I built my colony ship on Earth, and it took off. Now what?
Oh, okay.
And so you start out Galactic Civilizations with that colony ship, right?
This is a spiritual successor to Civilization.
Well, no, there's a lawyer somewhere going,
exactly.
Yes,
say it. Someone
it.
just took his pen out of his sheath.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the premise is now you can play as an alien civilization as well, but in this case, you start with your colony ship. What are you going to do with it? I mean, you're literally, there's Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Yeah. There's the asteroid field. The Oort cloud is just out here. And so the game asks you, what do you want to do? So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm just going to colonize Mars here. I don't recommend it, but
we've been trying to do that for a while, so
yeah,
you made it look so easy.
And the game wants to. One of the things that the game,
That's
because
gorgeous.
It's a sandbox game,
yeah,
it really wants to be aspirational. It really wants you to feel like you're doing these things, and so we do have these scenes that tries to make it clear that, hey, and colonizing another planet is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really sort of bombastic, like the scene showing, going down into the atmosphere. That's powerful.
Yeah, and the first time you do these things, so you don't get that every time. It's just the first time to kind of hit home that, hey, it's non-trivial what you just did. It's a big deal. So when you get down to planets, so here's Mars, which is not very pretty, but or maybe it is, depends on your point of view, I guess. And every time you play the game, Mars will be a little bit different.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But in this case, Mars has an artifact of a kind. It has a mineral-rich spot that if I build a research lab here, it actually gets a +2 bonus, and where you place things now matters. So this wasn't the case in previous Galactic Civilizations games. In those games, you went to a planet, you could build as much stuff. Where you put it didn't really matter. In this case, if I build another research building right here, I will get a bonus.
Okay, so there proximity bonuses have been added to.
Exactly, adjacency ones, and there's a lot of interesting. That results in some really tough decisions.
Okay.
So I got my scout here. I'm going to send him off here. This ship is equipped for, as I jokingly tell the team, the Millennium Enterprise here is designed to.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What's the structure? Well, next to the Millennium Enterprise, the sort of rib cage.
Yeah, this is actually one of the new features in Galactic Civilizations 3. This is actually something we're pretty pleased with, especially late game. Is that again? Let's use Civilization as because it's the benchmark in my opinion. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
And late game in Civilization, every city builds units, and that can be quite an undertaking. Because I mean, if you have 30 cities, that is a lot of time to that you're spending every turn. Well, in Galactic Civilizations 3, we moved the unit production outside the planet. So if you think of planets, your colonies as being cities, this is a separate structure. So having the shipyard out here, I might late game, even in a large galaxy, might only have a handful of shipyards, maybe like 5, even though I might have 30 planets.
Yeah.
So I'm not having to spend that much time micromanaging the...
So you've consolidated all the unit generation, essentially.
Exactly. Your planets then feed in. I can go out this guy here and edit my sponsors, and I can see how far away they are and how much production, and I can then get to see how much of a distance penalty there is. Because, I mean, if you're sending your production across the galaxy...
Yeah, of course.
There's a penalty to that. And this is what I can go in, and when I look at my shipyard, I can, if I want, look at detail of all what the ships are. So at the beginning of the game, I have just a colony ship and a constructor, which can build star bases, and a scout. So nothing too fancy.
Right.
And then, but it'll take me through, and then the game will ask me to start researching tech. Every civilization you play as has their own tech tree, their own completely unique tech tree. It's pretty insane, actually.
Yeah. A lot of games, they'll share and overlap, and there'll be like some class or some civilization-specific technologies, right? But in this one,
in Galactic Civilizations 2, we had like a universal frame, so everyone had and then different races would have one or two different ones. Where in this case, they're actually reading in their own XML under the covers. It's a completely different tech tree.
Oh wow, okay.
And modders can go crazy with it too. They can. I mean, it's really easy to make your own.
Oh, you're opening this up for modding?
Oh my God, yeah. This game is. I'll show you in a second here where you can go really crazy with it.
How long until they make the complete Star Wars mod or Star Trek mod?
Beta testers have already done that because you can. I mean, let me show you something that's like crazy. So I can go in here. So you saw the ships before.
Yeah.
But I can go in and create a new design.
Oh, wow.
And literally go, hey, look at this guy, and I'm going to go and put some stuff on him, right?
Oh, wow.
Think of these little red dots as your Lego pieces.
It's a point of contact.
Yeah, it's a point of contact. Whoops, I made that way too big.
I was just going to say that's a large antenna?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wings, okay.
Yeah, so I can go on here, and this part, there's 2 tabs. The design mode is where it's just cosmetic, right? But if you wanted to build your whatever type of ship you want. Like you want to build your like I'm a Babylon 5 fan, so on my own machine I have all the Earthline ships. But people have made Transformers. Someone uploaded Voltron the other day, and because you do full blown animation, so they can transform and everything. So, yeah, you can go crazy with that, and then submit it and share it with other people.
That's awesome. Well, that was a quick look at Galactic Civilizations 3. Brad, thank you so much for joining me. You can find more when the game releases on May 14th. But for more on space battles and galactic conquest, you're already in the right place. IGN.